Well, welcome to the show. Glad to have you with us on a snowpacked, snow-covered day in the area. We went from baseball weather last week, Vince, to literally like downhill skiing in the span of just a couple of days. So.
Just a friendly reminder of what we deal with here in Northern Indiana and why we've all made a conscious decision to actually live here, which is interesting at times.
We have. It's crazy that is actually the choice that we make, and here we are.
I know. And yet people still complain about it. Like you have made the choice to live here. Like
true.
This is 2026. You can pick up and move anytime.
Very true.
But
Very true.
Yeah. So anyway, it is what it is. It's not that bad. I mean, it's gonna be like 40 degrees on Wednesday. It's all good.
Got a lot we're going to talk about in this show. We've got some Olympic gold medal to talk about right off the top. At the bottom of the hour, roughly 5:30, Hall of Fame former Notre Dame women's basketball coach Muffet McGraw is going to join us. She is. We're going to talk to her about a lot of different things. NCAA tournament, Hannah Hidalgo, Player of the Year. We're in the last week of the regular season now. Thursday night, the Fighting Irish women host Syracuse, and then next Sunday they are at Louisville to close out the regular season. And at that point, everyone will turn in their ballots for Player of the Year and all conference and all that kind of good stuff. And then next week we will be preparing for the ACC tournament, which is in Georgia this year. The Atlanta
Really?
Suburbs. So yeah, they moved it this year. Don't ask me why. So.
I won't. But they got to the magic number, right? They got to the 10th win.
It's my magic number.
It's all I needed to hear.
We'll find out. I've been saying it for a while. I think there were a lot of people who were in distress, even, that they would even get to 10 wins in ACC play, but they got to that yesterday, and they've still got 2 games to go. So in really good shape to keep on moving up and building that tournament resume. I think they're in right now. It's a matter of what seed they're going to be. We'll see what Muffet McGraw has to say about that. We'll see if she shares my extreme confidence. They've got a number 25 net ranking. I don't think there's any reason to be, as Chris says in the chat, stressed. I don't think there's any reason to be. Their net ranking is just too high. They've got quality wins. They've got one of the toughest strengths of schedule. We'll see what Muffet says, though. That's why she's coming on. She's the expert. I'm just the person who sits here and,
you're just the voice.
Break it down.
That's what you are. You're the voice.
That's right. Just a throat.
Notre Dame women's basketball. Come on.
How about that gold medal yesterday? Huh?
Oh my goodness. I set the alarm.
Did you? I didn't have to set the alarm. I was on Central Time, and I woke up as the game was starting.
I did set my alarm. I did want to get up on time, or to make sure I was up on time. How about that?
I want to address things in the chat. We're not talking. I don't care about your politics. Vince and I were just having this conversation before the show started, and Vince is going to kind of sit out during the interview. And if you bring up anything political in the chat, Vince is going to put you in timeout and you're gone.
You're out.
This is a sports show. We've had this policy for a long time.
Yep.
It's a sports show. We talk about sports. That includes in the chat. You can have a problem with whoever you want, but we're talking about sports on this show. So
correct. Yes. Keep it. Eyes on the prize, people. Eyes on the prize.
Let me just play you this. Let's
okay. All right.
Hughes puts around the court. United States with numbers. Watch across it comes. Jack Hughes wins it. The golden goal for the United States. For the first time since the 1980 miracle, the United States takes the gold. Jack Hughes beating Jordan Bennington.
That was Kenny Albert with the call of Jack Hughes. Game-winning goal. First gold medal for the United States in 46 years. 46 years to the day, which is amazing.
I actually did not realize that they had not won gold since 1980. I did not know that was a thing. I thought, when the professionals started playing and like all these different things, I thought that they had won gold. And they have not. And they've
played for gold a handful of times over the last several Olympics. They've just come up with silver time and again. So
and time to Canada. So
yeah,
that was a hill they hadn't conquered in a long time. So this was a great game. I enjoyed it. It was very low scoring, obviously. United States goes up 1-0, then it's tied at 1, and then obviously they go to overtime and all of those things. I was locked in, man. I was completely locked in. It was so much fun to watch, and it was because it was the United States. Like I will.
Oh, absolutely. Rob is sitting here in the chat. Oh, we're jumping on the hockey train. Yes,
No.
for a day.
We're jumping on the Olympic train is what
That's
we're jumping on. It just so happens that they played a hockey game. Like that's
get your jingos out. We're all jingoistic is what it is. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's the USA, baby. Didn't you hear the chants? I mean, come on.
Listen, it was so much fun to watch. And then, everything that happened at the end when they brought the two kids out, and like this was a trophy presentation, by the way, that I did watch, Sean, and I watched it to the bitter end, and it was a lot of fun to watch on a Sunday morning.
No, that's for sure. It's funny because I got up and I watched the first period, and because it was 7 a.m. in Dallas. I was obviously in Dallas for the basketball game or the weekend, so they're on Central Time. So I didn't sleep very well. I happened to wake up like right at 7 o'clock. So flip on the TV, and just a couple minutes in, boom, we get the first goal of the game by Boldy. And, it's like, wow, okay, this thing might turn into a rout. And then obviously things swung. And then the team has like very specific when you can go eat, like breakfast and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff. So first intermission comes, I go down for breakfast, and I ended up hanging out at breakfast. By the time I got back, the second period was over, and they were in the second intermission break. But then I got to watch the third period, and I think by that point, didn't the Canadians score their goal early in the third, if I remember right?
I think it was early in the third. It was 1-1 for a long time. That's what I remember. So it was either late in the second, early in the third, one of the two. And it was a lot of the Americans holding on for overtime. I mean, that is what it was. There's no doubt about it. I mean, they held on for overtime. And then at that point, it's literally anybody's game because of the 3-on-3 format.
Right.
And, Canada, here's the thing. Canada was the better team on Sunday. I don't think anybody would argue that. I think Notre Dame. I do this every time. I think
always, instead of USA, you slip in a Notre Dame every time.
I think Team USA came out of the gate faster, and that's why they scored when they did. I mean, they had the momentum at that point, and then Canada took it all back, and they were the better team for two periods, in my opinion. They were. So it was getting to the end of the third period and then getting to the overtime that the Americans wanted to do, because once you go 3-on-3, like literally anything can happen. And Canada had so many opportunities in regulation to win that game.
They did.
Open nets. I mean, missed shots. Like they had every chance.
Though, is what it came down to. The 41 saves I saw.
It's unbelievable.
The most saves ever in at least in a gold medal game. I don't know if it's the most ever in an Olympic game period, but the most ever. He stopped 41 of 42 shots against Canada. 27 of them came. This is some breakdown here from Hockey Stats. 27 came from the slot, 17 from the inner slot, and there's the photo from above where it's like, how did that not go in the net? That's basically behind him, and he just manages to deflect it, and it gets out of there. That was just nuts.
And he barely got a piece of that with his stick too,
right,
to make the puck go away. And look, both teams had opportunities to win it in regulation. The one shot that the Americans had that literally hit both posts. Mm-hmm. Did you see that one? Holy cow. Like, how can you even, I don't know. That's amazing. Like, I feel like he couldn't do that again if he tried. But I'm not a hockey guy, so maybe that's a shot people can make. But they both had opportunities and they didn't make them. And like I said, you get to the 3-on-3 and the skill level of Canada and the skill level of the United States, when you're just talking 3-on-3 with so much open ice and all of these different things. You saw it in the women's game and you saw it in the men's game.
Yeah.
And
that's what's crazy. Like, we haven't even mentioned that yet. Like, it was USA obviously versus Canada in both the men's gold medal and the women's gold medal. And the women came up winners, as well as Megan Keller, who's from Farmington Hills, Michigan, got the winner for the United States against Canada. So Kenny Albert got to call 2 gold medal games.
That's cool.
Both of them overtime, with the U.S. winning on the final shot of the game. Like, I don't like, in a career, I don't think you could probably ask much more, than what Kenny Albert was able to do. I guess, Hallie plays for Winnipeg. Neither one of us, we're not hockey guys. We get that. But again, it's the Olympics, and it's the final game of the Olympics, and it's USA versus Canada, and you got some of the best in the world. Apparently, Hallie kind of had this reputation of a guy who hasn't come up big in some of the biggest moments, and to be able to say he stopped 41 of 42 shots in the gold medal game and your team won gold, and, like what you were talking about, just some of the crazy saves that he made, I'd say he came up pretty big myself. And
he gets to head back to Canada for his home games.
That's right.
I'm sure that's going to be awesome when he goes back up to Winnipeg or whatever. But, he was, I think they also said that he was the NHL MVP at one point.
Right.
But he was still getting crap for not being able to win the big game.
Still, had the reputation of not a big game guy.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Huge monkey off his back, obviously. And I do think it's an awesome parallel. Obviously, the 46 years date to date, yes. But then also the fact that you had to have amazing goaltending in both games in order for the United States to win. That's a fact for the 80 team, and that was a fact for the 2026 team. Just amazing goaltending, and it was so much fun to watch.
So you mentioned the 3-on-3 a few times there, and this is kind of, I think that like true hockey people definitely are probably much more dug in than we are on the 3-on-3 format in overtime. Are you in or out on going to the 3-on-3 for overtime?
Obviously,
us being novices, it's not that our opinion probably matters much, because it's like literally.
Well, look, I am a novice watcher of hockey, obviously, and I enjoyed watching it when it was 5-on-5. But it was a much faster and more. You see the talent level, in my opinion, more in the 3-on-3. Like, I like the open ice. I like scoring. You know what I mean? It's like when they make these changes in the NFL to promote scoring and all of these different things. I liked it. I mean, you got a goal pretty darn quick in overtime, both in the women's game and the men's game. And there's a reason for that, because
like Eddie
so
Olczyk was saying, like the U.S. better win this faceoff, otherwise they might not get the puck back.
might not touch it.
Yeah, and I was surprised that they were able to get it as relatively quickly as they did. Again, as being a non-hockey guy, I get why, if you're a hockey purist, why you wouldn't want to do it. It's not quite, deciding, games by a home run derby or, a 3-point shootout and
is this the
or whatever.
Is this the automatic man on second in extra innings?
Yeah, a little bit.
That's what this is.
That's kind of what it is. But I understand why you need to do it in these situations, because it's hockey, and you don't want to be playing for 5 hours out there and going overtime to over. Like, would you rather do it with a 3-on-3 or do it with a shootout like they used to do, and like you still see in soccer? I think that the 3-on-3, it's still hockey, and then like you said, it just accentuates more of the skill. Whereas I don't like the shootouts in soccer, honestly. But again, I get why they've got to do it that way, because you got to keep things moving along. You can't just keep on playing infinitely when you've got guys and gals running all over the field and stuff like that.
And even in soccer, they do like 2 overtimes before they even get to shootouts. You know what I mean? So, I didn't mind it. I know, like I said, I get that the hockey purists don't like it, and okay, cool. I respect that 100%. I am far from a hockey purist. But I enjoyed it. I liked the 3-on-3. It promoted scoring, and it was fast, and it was, the move that I had the name written down last week when I was talking about it with Jesse. But the move that the women's hockey team, the move that she made, that was a sweet move. And that doesn't happen in 5-on-5. There's just not enough room for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was just a sweet move to win it, and it was a sweet move for in the men's game as well. It's kind of a loose puck. All of a sudden, trailer, I remember middle school basketball, trailer, turn around, boop. I mean, it was good. It was wide open ice.
Yeah, Josh says not any worse than college football overtime. And in fact, I think it's better.
Scoring,
we've talked about the whole doing the 2-point conversions in college football, which I don't think that's a worse adjustment than going to 3-on-3 because again they're still playing.
So Rob is obviously a purist. He says NHL has played sudden death OT 5-on-5 for over 100 years, but that's actually not true because they play 3-on-3 in the regular season in the NHL.
Yes.
So
I think they said that during the broadcast.
Yeah. Now I think in the playoffs is probably different.
Mhm.
But in the regular season, they do the 3-on-3 thing. So, and they were on a hard deadline. They had to get that game over because they had to get to the closing ceremonies.
That's right.
There's
That's
a schedule involved here.
Can't just keep going. Here is the U.S. team. I wanted to play this for you. I don't know if you saw this. You probably have because you've seen everything that's Olympic content. Here's the celebration of the U.S. team in the locker room afterwards.
Oh, mama, don't you cry. Oh, mama, don't you cry. USA hockey is do or die. USA hockey is do or die. Take a hockey stick in my hand. Take a hockey stick in my hand. Go on off to a foreign land. Go on off to a foreign land. Play said I'd be a star. Play said I'd be a star. USA hockey will go very far. USA hockey will go very far. Take the Gatorade in your glass. Take the Gatorade in your glass. We just kicked your. We just kicked your.
Got a little edit there. But if you're into rhyme time, I think you know exactly what they said. So
I had not heard that before.
Oh, you hadn't heard that?
I had not heard that. I saw the interviews. I saw, everything that was going on after the game. I did not hear or see that. That's fantastic.
Oh,
That's fantastic. The thing that gets me the most, obviously I love the Olympics. I love rooting on Team USA, all the things, right? These are all grown men. Like, these are grown men who are professional hockey players that'll make more money than you and I will ever see, right? And they are celebrating like 15-year-olds.
I know.
Which is freaking awesome, man. Like, that is so cool. It's so cool.
And the reason the NHL guys are playing in the Olympics is because they pushed for it back.
Good.
Like the NHL and the owners didn't want them doing it. And this has been obviously, more than 25 years. It's been a while since I don't know exactly when it happened, but the players union said, look, we want this. We want to be able to play for our countries. Obviously, not just men's basketball, but the dream team was the first to do it in terms of professional athletes and all that kind of stuff. And the hockey players wanted to do it as well. So it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome to see them, like being as invested in it.
And they were emotionally invested. It was so cool.
What do you think about all this whining from Canadians about the, you kind of mentioned this about, hey, we outplayed them, but we still lost,
Welcome to sports. Like, that was my whole thought process. It's like, yeah, how often a team that I'm rooting for or a team that I played on or that my kid has played on or whatever, they play better but lose. Let me tell you how often that happens in soccer. Like 50% of the time. Like 50% of the time, you can play better than the other team and you'll still lose.
That's right.
Like, that's sports.
That's literally why my hair is gray and like coaching baseball. I can't tell you how many times we felt like, high school games are 7 innings. I can't tell you how many times we felt like we were the better team for 5 to 6 innings.
Seriously.
It's that 1 inning, boom, it's done.
Happened to me way more often than I would care to count because I had a very short bench, if not one at all. And like I would have my ace pitcher up there, man. We'd be grooving and we'd be doing great. And then he's in his pitch count. And then you look at your bench and you're like,
right.
Well,
boy, where are we going now?
What do we do now?
Where are we going now?
And it usually ended in a loss, and that's how
exactly
it works.
Right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
Been there, man.
And that's, I mean, like you said, welcome to sports. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times.
Oh my goodness,
that happens. Just to be crying sour grapes like that. It's just.
And Rob makes a great point here. He said Canada forgets that the goalie is part of the team. Don't miss wide open nets and not score on a 5-on-3 power play. When Canada got the 5-on-3 power play from like a minute and 30 seconds or whatever it ended up being, I was like, well, this is game over. Like, there is no way that the United States is going to be able to keep Canada out of the goal
Yeah.
when you're down 2 skaters. Like, there's no way. Somehow they did. I thought that was
Amazing.
it.
Amazing day. And again, cool to see both the men's and women's team. Both, it's crazy that I think we definitely expected USA versus Canada on the women's side. I don't know that it was expected on the men's side, even though just with the teams playing and you look at the amount of players in the NHL and the investment that USA Hockey has put into this whole thing, maybe it was expected that the men were going to be, we were going to see it as well. But for both of them to come down to overtime goals,
They both won 2-1. Like,
US, to win both. Pretty amazing. I
don't think anybody expected the men to win the gold. I don't think that was an expectation. I think the expectation was that Canada was going to win. And then that, I heard some analysts talk about, hopefully American can keep it close, that kind of stuff. And they certainly did. They kept it close and ended up winning. So it was just so much fun to watch.
No, absolutely. 12 gold medals for the United States, the most ever at a Winter Olympics for the U.S. 12 seems, I mean, it's a nice number, obviously. Like, for that to be the most ever, that seems a little bit light.
I know.
Quite honestly.
And the United States has been good at the Winter Olympics. They haven't been great. I mean, you've got the Norways and the Finlands, and you've got all these other countries that are
Nordic nations.
Yeah, they're just better at Winter Olympics,
skiing and the skating, and all those different events. But I think it helps with all these different, like the snowboarding and the different, like the trick sports, basically, that the U.S. I think more or less invented. That basically since Shaun White, like when Shaun White dominated that for a while, and it's kind of taken off since then. I think that's kind of helped equalize things a little bit for the United States, kind of grab some more medals here and there. But,
I agree. I completely agree. Obviously, hockey doesn't hurt, and then they've got some of these newer events like the team figure skating, where they've got the multiple, and the United States won that gold. And so just some of these newer events, I think the United States has done a good job of winning.
X Games. Do they still do the X Games? Do they still are they still doing those? I haven't heard about X Games in a while. I'm sure they do.
I bet they do. It's just not as high profile, probably. Yeah. Because it's not as like, whoa, look at this. I think it's become more mainstream.
For sure. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, you will hear from the one and only Muffet McGraw. She'll be joining us. We're going to talk a little Notre Dame women's basketball coming up next with Muffet McGraw, Budweiser's weekday sports beat with IrishBreakdown.com. All right, we roll on through the hour, and we are ready right now. It is always a great day to have our next guest on the show. She is a Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer, a two-time national championship head coach who spent more than 3 decades on the sideline, of course, at Notre Dame with the Notre Dame women's basketball team. And now you see her on both the ACC network and ESPN. She is the one and only Muffet McGraw. How are you today?
I'm great, Sean, except for the snow. Feeling really good.
Oh, yes. I know. We were bemoaning that at the start of the show. Always great to come back from a place like Texas where, it's nice and sunny and then snow just hits you in the face literally the minute you walk off the plane. So I love the backdrop, though. Ruth shooting the free throw there.
You were there.
Background. That's right. We were all there in St. Louis. A good time was had by all, and the first of 2 national championships. There's a lot to talk about, so I guess I won't beat too much around the bush. I mean, you as we know, one of us here likes to get to the point relatively quickly, so I won't waste any time. So they beat SMU. Notre Dame beat SMU yesterday. They're 18-9 overall, 10-6 now in the ACC. There have definitely been some peaks and valleys, ups and downs, however you want to call it, some bumps in the road for this team for sure. How do you think this team has come along over the course of the season from where you sit?
Well, after watching the NC State game, I thought they may have been the best overall game the team has played. I think Hannah has been incredibly consistent all year long, but the pieces around her have been a little up and down. I think Moore is shooting the ball really well right now, 44% in ACC play. Cass Prosper, I think she's the most improved player in the conference, and she has added tremendous things. So I think if the 3 of them can play consistently well, from here on out, I think we have a really good shot at finishing undefeated.
It's been really amazing watching Cass's game blossom the way it has this year. Where do you think she's made the biggest improvement?
Well, her 3-point shot, I think last year, I was probably wouldn't have let her shoot that if I was coaching. I was not sure I wanted her to shoot the 3 when she was playing last year. But this year,
it was very unique looking. I think that might be the
yeah. This year, I think her percentage has improved so much. The thing I love about her, though, is she's relentless on the boards. I mean, there are so many times when a shot goes up, she may be the only one on the team that's in the lane looking to rebound. So she leads the team in offensive rebounds. She leads the team in rebounding. And I think that she just never stops hustling. And I love that about her. She can get to the rim and she can shoot the 3. So that makes her really hard to guard.
Well, you talked about the pieces around Hannah, and obviously they had to go a lot deeper into the transfer portal this year. I'm curious your thoughts on just putting not just putting a roster together, but then you have to retain the roster, keeping it, just with the state of what the portal and NIL is today, because none of this was here, obviously, when you were coaching still.
The transfer portal was just starting my last year, and I absolutely hate it. I think the kids are making really bad decisions. They're making decisions based on money now with the NIL. And it's really hard, I think, to develop a team culture when you have kids coming and going so quickly, especially when you get the grad transfer, which Notre Dame, it's hard for us to get undergrad transfers because of the academic requirements. And a lot of kids aren't up to the task of getting their degree from Notre Dame. So you have to really focus on the grad transfers. So there's some that are in for 1 year and then they're gone. The next one's in for 1 year. So building that team culture, which is so important. And from our teams in the past, that was the key to our success, the team chemistry, the team culture. And it's just making it so much harder to build that when you have players who they don't really understand Notre Dame. They get here and they're just here for a short time. So I think it makes it really, really hard on the coach.
Football was able to go out and add some undergrad transfers, which kind of opened, I think, some eyes from us, sitting here. Like, do you think that maybe we'll see some trickle down to the other sports, whether it's basketball or whatever else?
Yeah, I hope so. And I think there's obviously players from really good schools that we could probably get. And, certainly Ivy League schools or, places that are, high on the academic list. So I think it's possible. And I think it depends on the courses that they take and
right.
Plus what they did in high school. I mean, they go back and look at their high school also. So I think that is a real possibility. If Marcus Freeman can get that ball rolling, we would all appreciate it.
That's right. Get it started for everybody, right?
He doesn't have enough to do for the rest of us. Now we want him to help us with that too.
That's right. That's right. So they just, as I said, they picked up their 10th win in ACC play this season. I have felt like that was kind of I don't know if it's a magic number, but like, kind of where they've been building a resume. I thought that was at least an important number to get to 10, because that guarantees you'll be above 500 in the ACC. And now there's 2 games to go after beating SMU. So they've got a net ranking of 25, which is obviously really good. There's been a lot of concern about whether or not they're going to make it in. What's your confidence sitting where we are right now that they'll be in the NCAA tournament?
I'm very confident. I think anything under 30 in the net is good to get in that large bid. And I think right now we're in good position. We beat North Carolina. We beat USC, who's a team that's kind of on the rise right now. And then we beat NC State. So we have some quality wins of teams that are going into the field. You always worry about those losses. And now it looks like Virginia and Clemson are teams that also might be in the field. So I think when you have those kind of games, it helps your net ranking. But this Syracuse game, Sean, this game is really important. Syracuse is a team above us in the rankings, and they're having a great season. It would be just a huge win and a big boost of momentum heading into that Louisville game.
And a chance to beat another team ahead of them, obviously in the conference standings right now. Syracuse a few spots ahead. And for those maybe who weren't paying full attention yesterday, you mentioned Virginia and Clemson, and they both were able to. Clemson was able to knock off Duke, handed Duke their first conference loss of the season, and Virginia went to Louisville and beat them as well. And kind of looking at Notre Dame, it's like you're almost hoping those two would lose, because then it gave Notre Dame a chance maybe to vault ahead of them. But then, like you said, the other side of that is it builds their case, and so it kind of negates a little bit of those losses that Notre Dame has to both of them, right?
Yeah, it looks a little better for us because they'll improve their net ranking. And so if that goes up, that's why we jumped up a little bit, even though we played SMU, a team that's not in the top 100. They benefited from those teams winning because we played them. So it's crazy how the net works, but it's all interrelated.
Well, I know that ESPN's bracketology, they've had them the last week or two as a number 7 seed. I know that you haven't always been, kind of bought completely into the bracketology and projections and things like that. Do you think that is a pretty good, what do you think of how solid that is, I guess, a 7 seed potentially?
Well, I think today it's solid. I think the problem is we have 2 games left and then the ACC tournament. And plus, you don't know what other teams are going to do. We're not in the driver's seat right now. We are not controlling our own destiny. So we've got to see what happens in the Big Ten, what happens in the SEC, what happens in all the other conferences with all the other games, or teams getting upset in the 1 bid league. And maybe then that gives them 2 bids. My thing has always been stay out of the 8-9 game. I'd rather be a 10 than an 8-9, because you don't want to play that number 1 seed in the second game. It really on their home court too. It's just, that would be really, really hard to do. So I think 7 is a legitimate spot for us right now, but I think we got to finish strong. And even if you lose a game, you have to be competitive in that loss and then see how far we can go in the ACC tournament.
So I let some of our listeners know today that you were going to be on the show, and a couple of them gave me some questions. And I think that this kind of ties in, to what we're talking about right here. You've obviously, coached in the tournament. You've been there as a 1 seed. You've coached as an 11 seed, and plenty of different seeds in between. That 11 seed, by the way, got to the Sweet 16. So, in case people might have forgotten about that. But so how do you? What the listener wanted to know is essentially how you kind of prepare your team to sort of punch above your weight once you do get into the tournament and you are kind of one of those lower seeds than maybe you're accustomed to being.
It's a whole new season. And what I always did was I gave the team off almost 5 or 6 days, which, it was hard. It was hard to let them go. But, we'd go to the ACC tournament. There's a week before the bids come out. And I would say, go to the beach, go relax, try to get a run in, maybe a lift in, get some shots up if you can, but get away from it so that we're fresh. And I think that was something I always felt like we were really fresh mentally and physically going into the tournament. And then the level at practice, I was shocked all the way back to 2001. I remember coming back and the first practice, and I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to kill each other. I'm all for intensity, but I was like, wow. I mean, they've ratcheted it up to such a high level. And I think they knew, like, this is it, lose and go home. So I think the team understood the urgency of getting to practice and being a little more intense and making sure every single dot, we've got to do the little things right. We've got to take care of everything, scouting reports and all that. I mean, they were really in tune with what we were trying to get them to do. And I think you practice during the year. You have games where you play on a Friday, Sunday, or, you try to set that up so that your team is used to that. And then, of course, in the tournament, that's where it's going to really be hard for us. And it always was hard for us because even the year we won the championship with 6 players, we got to the championship game, but we were just out of gas. So that's the hard part. The ACC tournament is all about who's got the best bench.
So, yeah, it's a completely different animal when you're talking about ACC when you're playing in consecutive days, especially, obviously, if you do have to play on Wednesday instead of Friday being your first game. But so with this team specifically, you mentioned Hannah, she's obviously the driver of this team. Just missed a triple-double on her birthday yesterday, turned 21 and was a rebound shy of a triple-double, but she's third in the nation in scoring. She leads the nation in steals. And after the game yesterday, Michaela Mabry was on with me, and what she said was basically there's no player who impacts the game on both sides of the floor the way Hannah does. Have you seen anyone who comes close this year?
I agree. She is the best on both sides of the ball for sure. And that the problem with Player of the Year, Sean, is that you have to first decide what is the Player of the Year for you. Is it the best team? Is it the player that helped their team, get to number one? Or is it just the most talented player, somebody that's going to be, high in the WNBA draft? And I think that makes a difference because there are a lot of good players out there, and some of their teams are doing really well. And I think people look at that and are influenced by that.
Well, I mean, you led me right into, you knew exactly where I was going with this, because she's the reigning ACC Player of the Year. She was the preseason ACC Player of the Year. And there has been this kind of narrative that's, discussion, whatever. I know that it's happened on ACC Network. I'm sure you've been a part of it. I haven't seen you in the middle of the discussions that I've seen necessarily, but I'm sure that it's come up. The argument is, okay, Hannah might be the best player in the conference, but she's on the 9th place team in the conference. So how do you give the Player of the Year to a player on the 9th place team? Does it need to be someone like a Fournier from Duke, who is in first place right now? So I think that it could probably shift from year to year. Is in general, does it need to be separate from being a team award? Does it need to be purely an individual award? What do you think?
Yeah, I think everybody has their own opinions on that, but I don't think there's any way Hannah's not going to win Player of the Year in the ACC. She is clearly the best. And honestly, I think Duke losing helped that, because I think if Duke goes undefeated, Fournier suddenly becomes somebody that may be in that position, and maybe she'll get some votes too. But I think Hannah should win that. I was talking nationally when you look at where your team is. I think that's a whole different story. I don't think, Tanaya Latson was leading scorer in the country last year for Florida State, but their team, I think they made the tournament, but they didn't have a great year. And she wasn't really in consideration for Player of the Year. So I think Hannah, because of her defense, that puts her solidly in the conversation, and maybe she is the best defensive player in the country, and that's something that nobody else on that list is looking to get both of those awards. So she should win both those.
I'm really interested to see how this goes, because like if I'm looking at Fournier just as the example, really good player, but I don't think like if you were comparing the two players, I don't think there's any comparison in terms of like who the better player is, but she happens to be playing on the team that's at the top of the conference right now. It does feel like, from a National Player of the Year perspective, I think that there's definitely a lot more people leaning that direction that you were talking about, that maybe they can't vote for her because of the, where the team is in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, team success has always been important, and I think I remember back when Enrique was not the Player of the Year in the conference, and I think we won the conference regular season, and then at the end of the year, she was the ACC Woman Athlete of the Year. So,
right,
I think the coaches sometimes can be a little subjective, a little more subjective than the media.
Well, and it's funny because because I'd seen some of this as it relates to the ACC kind of come up, and then talking to some of my counterparts the last few weeks, this is a conversation that, some people are saying I'm voting this way. Some people I'm saying, I'm voting this way. So like I said, I'm going to be really curious to see how that turns out. But Hannah's won the Player of the Week 6 times this year in the conference. Nobody else has won it more than once. So, I mean, that seems fairly significant. And then I'll credit Ashton Pollard, Notre Dame's SID, for this note. Hannah's on pace to score 600 points, have 150 rebounds, 150 assists, and 150 steals this season. There's been only one other player in the nation to do that, to have that stat line in this century, and that was Hannah Hidalgo 2 years ago. She's the only player this century, and she's about to do it again. It's just amazing, kind of things that she does.
It really is amazing. I mean, she is just never takes a play off. She's just works so hard, both ends of the floor. And you don't find a lot of good players that are not going to take a little bit of time off on the defensive end.
Well, there are times where just, all of a sudden they'll be at the defensive end of the floor, and then it's like this jackrabbit just springs up in the air. It's like, how does she get, just the things that she can do, and just whether it's jumping around or the hands, taking the ball away, obviously leading the nation in steals and all those things. It's
I think she sees the floor defensively, and she can anticipate, like, where's the ball going to go next? Is that person going to dribble? Are they in trouble? And she takes a lot of chances. You have to be a risk taker in order to get that many steals.
Yep. So I talked about that Ruth Riley shot there behind you. You had the 25-year anniversary of that championship team, your first championship team this year, and we were kind of saying it looked like there were a few on that team. You could just roll out the ball, and maybe they could go out and scrimmage the current team. I don't know. They look like they were up for it.
I'm sure Neil still could get out there and make things happen. I was really amazed. I didn't feel like anybody had changed at all. They all look the same. They're all in great shape and so successful. But it was just so fun to get together, and we had a nice trivia contest and talked about things like who got left behind when the bus pulled out and you weren't on it. Who was that, and what game was that? And they remember those mornings on the track, and we never talked about basketball or any of the games so much as what happened off the court. And that's where you build so many great lifetime memories.
You'll be happy to know that it's not just you. I got left at a practice at Stanford a couple of weeks ago. I stepped out. I took too long calling my wife outside the gym, and I kind of lost track of there was an outdoor swim meet. I lost track of time, and the next thing I know, where's the bus? Where'd it go?
I know Chris Masters has some stories. I left him quite a few times too.
I bet. All right. Well, Muffet, it's great to catch up with you. I appreciate you doing this. And again, of course, you can find her on ACC. Do you have a regular set of
Thursday
days?
Thursday nights.
I swear I was, after our game last Thursday, it's the Nothing But Net show, right?
Yeah, but I'm on ESPN now, so I'm not always on the Nothing But Net show. But I will be on this Thursday.
Okay.
We'll be giving out our awards, so you'll see if Hannah's going to win Player of the Year from our group.
All right, sounds good.
Hey, let's get the crowd going for Thursday. This is a really important game.
Last home game, home finale, senior night, the whole thing. Notre Dame, Syracuse, 7:00 Thursday night at Purcell Pavilion. Muffet McGraw, thanks as always. We'll look forward to. I guess I'll see you out in
The ACC tourney in Duluth, Georgia.
Duluth. I was trying to think of the name of the
Yeah.
town. We've never been there before. This is going to be interesting. Something new for all of us in Georgia next
Be
week.
nice to get out of the snow.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Muffet. I appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Sean.
Take care. That's Muffet McGraw. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we've got more Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com. We continue Budweiser's weekday sports beat with IrishBreakdown.com. Sean Stiers, Vince D'Addario. Thanks again to Hall of Fame Coach Muffet McGraw for joining us on the show just a few minutes ago. A lot of good stuff, I thought, there, Vince.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. And obviously, she is not shy about her love for Notre Dame and the players, but she makes good points all around about Hannah Hidalgo and the fact that she's the best player in America.
Yeah, she wasn't buying any of that dumb ACC Player of the Year argument.
Yeah, she's like, I'm not even talking about the conference. She's the best player in the
I'm talking about National Player of the Year.
Yeah, that was great.
Justin wants to know if she lives in the South Bend area. The answer is yes. You cannot have the address, though. Rob, on that subject says Team Glory. Come on, Sean. We talked about this last week, Vince. I still the team is the goal is to win games.
Sure.
But when you're handing out these postseason awards, they go to the individuals. All conference is an individual award. They still give them out, whether it's first team or second team, a Heisman Trophy, whatever you want. They're individual awards. Right. And I don't think that what your team does should have any factor in a Player of the Year award. Now, if we want to say most valuable player, then you're attaching, by using valuable, then you're attaching something that I think can be more directly tied to the team. Okay, Rob says he's joking, so we don't have to go down this.
That's good.
Anymore. But I just think they're individual awards. Right. And I think Conference Player of the Year, to me, there's no question who the best player in the conference is. It shouldn't be a conversation.
The stat that stood out to me the most is that she's gotten Player of the Week 6 times and no one else has gotten it more than once. What else do you need to know?
Right. There really isn't that much.
I mean, that kind of says it all. You don't even have to vote on it. It's right there on paper, we voted her Player of the Week 6 weeks and everybody else only got once. Huh. Who's the best player in the conference?
It's not in the conference.
It's not that hard. It's really not that hard.
Concur. Excuse me. So, yesterday, Indiana sectional draw, boys basketball sectional draw. Doesn't seem like a lot of controversy this time around. It's like every once in a while you get some big controversies because they do a blind draw and the pairings in the first round and all that kind of stuff. What looks like should be a very competitive sectional, those the Mishawaka sectional. Mishawaka against Adams, South Bend Adams in the first round. The winner will play St. Joseph after that. And then in game 2, Penn versus Michigan City, and in game 3, South Bend Riley versus LaPorte. Should be some pretty good basketball played over there.
Yeah, this is basically, if it was seeded, this is what it would look like, to be honest with you, because St. Joe's undefeated, and they should be the number 1 seed, and Riley beat Penn for the second place in the conference. And so really Riley should be number 2, Penn should be number 3, and then you kind of seed in everybody else. So it actually makes a lot of sense. You've got some Final Four games that should be very, very competitive. Now Michigan City Penn is not going to be a cakewalk for Penn by any stretch, but you can probably say that it's going to be a Penn Riley rematch. And that game just occurred the other day. And that was a 5-point game. And then the winner gets St. Joe. And, that makes sense. So yeah, it's going to be a very, very competitive sectional. And I'm actually really looking forward to it. I try to go to as many games as I can.
All right. What are the dates? Is it 2 weeks away?
I believe it's the first full week of March.
So it's next week. I was thinking it was farther out than that.
Pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And I don't quote
you. Know more than me. You know more than me. I mean, you work at one of the schools. So
I know.
I hope you know more than me.
Tomorrow, Penn plays Mishawaka, and then on Friday, I believe they have Maryville, and I think the tournament starts that. So yeah, I believe that's what it is. I will research, and that'll be the first thing that we talk about when we come back. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
I'll get the dates.
We can do that. You'll have to take up some of Bobby's mic time. So,
well, he's gonna have to get over it.
Yeah, I think you're right. Decaf says March 3rd. That sounds right. There
you go. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. Thanks, Decaf. And Northridge isn't in the sectional we're talking about, Decaf. Come on, man.
They all play the same week, though.
They do. Yeah. But I mean, he's saying his click to pick is Northridge in the north.
Ah,
You're saying Northridge is going all the way. Okay. That's an interesting pick. St. Joe's going to be tough to beat.
that's hour number 1 of the show. We'll take a break, and then rapid fire comes up in hour number 2. Plenty of topics to cover. Notre Dame football, some more Olympics in there, and more coming up in rapid fire. Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com. And I am joined in the 6 o'clock hour by Vince D'Addario and Bobby Hensley. If I can get the screensaver off the screen. There we go. This could end up being a commercial-free hour 2 of the show, Vince. I just want you to know going in.
That's dangerous.
Inside talk.
Because I just accidentally clicked a button and the whole log in the second hour disappeared. So,
Oh, whoops.
yep.
That's what happens when you get click happy over there, buddy.
It does happen. And I have no idea what I'm doing, for the most part.
Well, there's nothing new there.
no, that's exactly right. It's always,
I love how Sean works under pressure. He's so calm and so demure. He's just nice.
It's just the public persona. You've seen him behind closed
Demure.
doors. Come on
Yeah.
now.
I know he's really good at pool. Are you a pool guy, Vince?
How in the world do you know that Sean Stiers is good at pool?
Because we met up one time for a nice appetizer, and
Wow.
he's
I've
like,
never
"Hey,
been-
I have a pool table. We're playing." And I was like, "I don't really play pool." And Sean's like, "We're playing."
Even better.
that's right. And I was not really good, just to get that out of the way. Okay, Vince, you had homework during the commercial break, or at least you gave yourself some homework.
Well, I thought we
During-
got it accomplished. Dang it. All right. Sorry.
We got 55 minutes to fill,
Yeah,
buddy.
did you just hear what I said?
Listen.
We could literally be
No,
talking.
hey, we're
for
good.
the next 52 minutes.
It's all good.
And the first three
I'm on
haven't
it.
gone well.
I'm on it. No, you're right. They haven't. And it's probably not going to get any better. So I hope, it is what it is. Yes, it does start next week on the 4th.
Okay.
on
Section will
March 4th,
start
yep.
next week, just to make
Yep.
sure people know what Vince means by saying it. It is sectionals that Vince
Pronouns,
is
pal.
talking about.
I assume people are listening the whole way. We got
tune in,
loyal
tune in.
listeners.
Tune in, tune out factor, Vince. This is radio. Someone might have
Yeah.
just gotten in their car,
I tend
Well,
to
the other
forget,
way, they heard
actually,
that I'm
that we're on
coming, so
radio.
now they've all tuned out.
And there's that as
Yeah,
well.
exactly. So they don't care what I have to say.
Right.
We did mention in the first hour, Vinny Freeman placed 5th at the state wrestling championships down in Indianapolis over the weekend at 175 pounds. Won his opening round match, dropped his second match, and then came back and won the 5th place match.
He won the next two.
Oh, was it 2? Okay.
Yeah, because if he would have lost the second match of the day, he would have been wrestling for 7th.
Gotcha.
So yeah, so he won the next two, and he won the next two by major decision. Like he wasn't
19
messing
to
around.
1 or something?
What's that?
I think it was like 19 to 1, I heard. One of his matches was.
Yeah, he dominated after the one that he lost, which was tough. I guess there was a bit of a controversy. It was like he should have gotten some points, but then they rolled over and they gave the points to the other kid. Whatever. I didn't actually see it, so I can only go off of what I've heard. It just, to your point, Sean, you said this the other day about, I think you talked about the pull throughs and like wrestlebacks and all these different ways that you can do it. There's a lot of controversy about the way that the IHSA does their state championship.
Oh, so you've done
wrestling.
a little research after you heard
Did.
me talk about it, did you?
I had some conversations with some people, and there are some people that were very upset with kind of the format of the IHSA tournament.
Yeah, it's not a true double elimination tournament.
Yeah.
Is what it is, and the fact that he could win his first match, and this is anybody, not just him, but you can win your first match, then lose your second, and then the best you can do is 5th after that. If it were a true double elimination tournament, there would be a consolation side to the bracket, and even though you lost in that second round, you could still come back out as long as you keep winning and end up placing 3rd, for example.
Well, even that, though, couldn't you have a double elimination tournament where if you win the loser's bracket and you beat the champion or the winner's bracket person twice, you could still be champion?
No, that's a
You
little
don't like
that's
that?
a little too far.
Okay,
That's a
I'm
little-
just asking.
that's
I will say, Vinny Freeman went 16-1 in the postseason and got 5th place. Like,
right.
when you say it like that, it's tough. You know what I mean? Like that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah,
But,
for sure.
it just stinks. I mean, the kid was on a mission, did a great job and everything, and he's definitely a kid to be looked up to. A lot of young kids are looking up to him, and for all the right reasons.
He's onward and upward to bigger things
Oh,
already.
he's going to Cornell. I mean, he's going to the Ivy League, man. Like,
I mean,
Good for him.
four-time state qualifier, 3-time state placer. Like that's
Right.
it's still very good, especially when you look at the fact that that the bracket and the format is set up the way it is, and you don't have that opportunity, to come. It's all it comes down to. And I was thinking about this after we were having the conversation last week, Vince, is the tournament on Friday starts at 3:00 in the afternoon. Like, start the tournament at 8:00 Friday morning, and you give and add a couple mats, and you've got all the time and space that you need to have more consolation rounds. Like, you should have more opportunity, as many rounds, sectionals, regionals, semi-state, as many rounds as you have to go through in Indiana just to get to the state tournament. You should have more opportunity once you get to the state tournament to come back through in a double elimination format. It shouldn't all come down to one match like that.
Yeah, that stunk. Obviously, and this is a classic. I had a dog in the fight, and so it stinks that he didn't have a chance to do what he wanted to do. You know what I mean? And so, I saw him today at school, told him congratulations, that kind of a thing, and he just kind of, he's upset about it, obviously, but at the end of the day, he had a pretty darn good career, that's for sure.
There's a dude who, in the Summer Olympics, because wrestling is obviously a Summer Olympic sport. There was a guy who I saw who went to like a Division III college and was pretty good. I think he's from the Chicagoland area. Never won a state championship. And there have been, other stories like this before. There have been plenty of guys like never won a state championship, ended up winning multiple NCAA championships. This guy never won a state championship, was pretty good at the Division III level, but was never great, but ultimately went to the Olympics as a wrestler, never won a state championship. So he's young enough. They're all young enough.
Sure.
Go to college, still have plenty of opportunities to go and improve yourself. So
I think it's impressive for his character that he did lose early and still won all the rest of his matches in dominating fashion.
Yeah.
And didn't check out just to go home early and be done with it. I think it's really awesome to see, as a mental competitor, how he hung in there to finish out through his rounds.
No, that's exactly right. Jesse didn't wrestle through high school, but I remember it was like conference. I was on the road doing baseball when he was in middle school, when he was kind of giving it a shot, and he got to the semifinals of like the middle school championships or whatever, and lost there. And then we had that conversation about, now, okay, you've still got an opportunity to come back through and ultimately take third place. So are you going to be mad and upset and just cash out because you didn't get to the championship, or you're going to redial and refocus? And he got in and finished third. So that's a big part of it, is the mental component. You're absolutely right, Bobby. One of the smarter things you've ever said on this show.
Well, if it's a mental component and you're saying I was smart about it, what are you getting at?
All right, I'm sure plenty of people are done with the wrestling conversation now. Let's get into some football.
We're talking wrestling. We're talking hockey. Like this.
I know.
I was ready for the hocky talk.
You might want to bookmark this show, because we've gone off the beat.
We're getting the niches. Yeah.
That's right.
Man.
That's right.
Add a little lacrosse talk, and this is going to be an all-timer.
Hey, they picked up a big win over Georgetown this week, and there's
#1
people
in the
who
nation.
want lacrosse talk, Vince.
I know.
Went to #1 in the nation after knocking off Georgetown.
That's right. I cared about lacrosse when Faison played. He doesn't play anymore, so I'm kidding. Obviously, lacrosse team is very, very good. They're #1, so let's see how they do.
Matt Jeffrey, though, doing a little two-time.
This is true.
Hockey, lacrosse, and
let's see what you did.
Got hockey on the brain.
He might be good at hockey. Maybe he just hasn't tried it yet.
USMA 87 says lacrosse won and no one saw it. No offense, but that's basically every lacrosse game.
That's gonna
Every
say.
Olympic sport.
It wasn't televised, so yeah.
Do they still stream it on the UND app, or is that a few years ago?
That was probably a few years ago, but I don't know that for sure.
They used to have all their sports, so they would just have like a camera wide,
Oh yeah, I think they got away from that. I think the ACC pretty much probably took away that opportunity. Yeah.
All right, defensive lineman Francis Brew, silent U, transferred to Notre Dame from Pitt last month. He was asked last week if playing against Notre Dame last season impacted his decision to transfer to Notre Dame. And here is his answer.
The atmosphere Notre Dame brought. I mean, top level. That was a home game for us at Pitt, and it was college game day, so it was already a hyped up game. But just going in and seeing so many Notre Dame fans there, I mean, that was huge. I'm like, dang, these fans travel great. That means this community must have a lot of respect for this program, and they do. So that definitely made me comfortable knowing that I was going to come to a place that prioritized, football, and that had that strong support behind them.
Vince, that is blank.
Typical of Notre Dame. I mean, it's nice that he's able to see that he got to see that firsthand, and obviously play in a game that was supposed to be his home game, and it was outdone by Notre Dame fans. I mean, that's who Notre Dame is. You come to Notre Dame if you want to have that kind of a following, and he's here now. So I think that makes a lot of sense. He knows what we all knew already.
I mean, to answer the blank, it's normal that Notre Dame travels that well. But as a recruiting technique, not recruiting, but as a reason for him to come, it almost felt weird the way he said that was supposed to be our game, and there were so many Notre Dame people. You should know that already. Like, you should already know that they're going to travel like that. Don't act like that's a surprise. That part bothers me a little. And it was a noon kickoff towards the end of the year. I don't know. Pittsburgh they hadn't played anybody, so for him to be surprised that Notre Dame travels so well, and that was part of why he wanted to switch his, like, I get what he's saying. He's trying to be nice and like make the fan base feel good, but they're going to travel well. It shouldn't be part of a surprise to why you want to come here.
Well, remember back when Pete Bavacqua at his post playoff snub press conference, he talked about Notre Dame's impact on the ACC and the fact that stadiums are filled, much more often when Notre Dame is involved, compared to when any other team is involved. And, Pitt, I remember this, the Pittsburgh game and all that kind of got rolled into this conversation afterwards. And there were some Pittsburgh people talking about, well, that was, that game was a sellout because of College Game Day was there and this whole thing. So I thought it was very interesting to hear an actual Pitt player talk about the excitement of game day, but the fact that there were so many Notre Dame fans there and the atmosphere of the game was different because of the Notre Dame impact on it, So like all these other people surrounding it, all these other people connected to the ACC, whether it's fans or whoever else, can try to deny, Notre Dame's impact on what Notre Dame brings to the ACC. But I think it's very telling when you actually hear it from a player who played against Notre Dame and saw what all of the rest of his home games were like and saw the difference when Notre Dame showed up and seeing those Notre Dame people in the stands. I think that that's very telling, and obviously he's here now.
But
so
it's also rough because it's like, why wasn't he recruited by Notre Dame and went there to begin with? The portal changes everything. But I'm like,
no,
okay,
that's exactly right. I mean, he wasn't recruited because
he wasn't a big enough.
His profile was different at that point. Yeah.
But that makes it even more weird to me. I'm like, of course he's got to say nice things because he got recruited now. Now he wants to go there. And it just shows, I think this is like more classic of what you're going to get with the recruiting as we go forward.
Especially from the transfer portal.
Exactly.
Yeah. Rob wants me to take back what I said about you earlier, Bobby. I'm just going to have to say no.
That's a long list. I don't know what he's referring to specifically.
He said that I said something smart, and that was the first time that
Sean maybe that's it.
I feel like I'm having my daddy issues come out. That was the first time Sean ever said something nice.
Wow. He's called you his daddy.
Well,
I don't know what to do with that.
I don't either. That's why I'm staying way away from that one.
Fill in the blank. It's blank that Jeremiah Love plans to run the 40 and do other testing at the NFL Draft Combine later this week.
It's puzzling. I was a little puzzled by the whole thing. Jeremiah Love has zero to prove. I am surprised that he is going to be doing testing at the Combine. I get the fact that, maybe he wants to be the fastest running back or, that there's some status to some of that stuff. He doesn't have to do squat at the Combine. In my opinion, the only thing he can do is hurt his stock by doing stuff.
You're right. The only thing he can do is hurt his stock, but the best thing he can do is what? Solidify his stock? Like,
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
the best.
so
Yeah.
right now,
but
I think Daniel Jeremiah has him as the second best player, period. And he's obviously projected by everyone to be a top 10 pick right now. There's no place to go but down. He's not going to be the number one overall pick. Nobody's going to take the Raiders aren't going to take a running back at number one in the draft. And if someone trades up with the Raiders, they're not going to take a running back number one in the draft. There's no place to go but down for me. So, give him credit for wanting to do it, but it kind of feels a little bit, just like ego, maybe as much as anything for a guy who doesn't have a lot of outward ego, the fact that he wants to go and show himself, because I just don't think he has anything to show. He could just show up and do the interviews and go where he's going to go, which is top 10, no matter what.
see, maybe I'm going to sound, I don't know, weird, but like maybe it's not the ego. I'm going to disagree with you. I think it's more of, I'm a football player. I want to do football things. I want to go through this process. I want to show that I'm a football player, a guy. I want to show you my stats. It's not an ego thing, I don't think. I think it's more of him just wanting to solidify himself and be part of the process.
If you ever watched the combine, the last thing they're doing is anything related to football at the combine.
And
exactly.
That's the whole other component of it. But I think he's knowing he's going to get invited once. He wants to do it. He's not going to get hurt running a 40, hopefully.
You could pull something. I mean,
I understand, but I think it's not. I don't think his ego is what's taken over. I think he wants to be this guy that just shows how much he's invested in this game and in this world, and he's just immersing himself in it.
See, Joe says maybe he wants to guarantee a top 10 pick. I think he's guaranteed.
He already got that
pick right now.
It's already guaranteed.
I don't think he has anything. I don't think that there's anything that he needs to do to prove that he's a top 10 pick. But if you run a slow 40 time, you could fall down to around 15 potentially.
And maybe there's that. Maybe he does want to run a slow 40 time and he gets drafted by the Chiefs and then he's already on a good roster. And
Bobby's conspiracy theories.
Well, I go both sides. I'm just saying. I don't think it's an ego thing, though. I don't think it's an ego play for Jeremiah Love. I think he just wants to be there in the moment and just get the most he can out of his draft experience.
Hey, we'll see. He comes up Saturday. Running backs do their thing on Saturday. So we'll see how it all turns out. Hopefully it goes well for him. I was just surprised. I was shocked when I heard this morning on NFL Network.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised that he's going.
Yep. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, more Rapid Fire is on the way. Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com. We continue rapid fire in Budweiser's weekday sports beat with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Sean Stiers, along with Vince Interiew and Bobby Hensley. Woke up to the snow today, and here we are. Did you get out there and shovel today, Vince?
When I got home from school today, the shoveling was done.
Oh, nice. Nice. Very nice.
Yes, my wife is a trooper. She's a champion of shoveling, and she cannot look out the window and see a driveway that needs to be shoveled without going out and shoveling it. I appreciate that.
Do you use that to your advantage all the time? Like,
I'll
get out there after dinner, and she just runs out and does it.
Well, she's there during the day. She's home. So, hey, I'm at work. What am I supposed to do?
Because even with the snowblower, my wife is like, nope, he's around. He's got it.
Well, it made me.
I'm gonna go reorganize this cupboard over here.
I cleared everything off around 11 o'clock last night, and I thought I was fine.
Yeah, you jumped the gun on that one, buddy.
Yeah.
And then 7:30 this morning, I was like, all right, yeah, let's look. Oh no, the window wasn't nice to me.
I made the mortal mistake of washing my car last week when it was nice.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I did, my wife goes, it's going to snow again this weekend, right? I like that salt had been on it for so long. I had to get the salt off.
Right.
It was driving me crazy.
Yeah, now you have new salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so how long was the line at the car wash?
There was no line.
Really?
It was an overcast day. I did it on a non-sunny
Everyone
day.
else knew it was going to snow again.
Probably so.
No, it's funny because I think about that sometimes. But if you have one of those subscriptions or all you can wash, why not just go through every day or all the time?
I don't have one of those. Do you have one of those? Do you have an unlimited card that's something that you'd like to give me, maybe?
Someone in my family does, and it's not me.
Can you?
How do you get one of those?
You pay for it.
Pay
Does
for
it
it every
cost a lot?
month.
Does it cost a lot?
It's not cheap.
Yeah.
It's not.
Is it
It's
under
not cheap.
$100 a month?
I don't know.
I would hope so.
I have no
All right.
idea.
Other topics.
I don't wash my car that much.
Fill in the blank. After losing to Pittsburgh Saturday, this Notre Dame men's basketball season, Bobby, is blank.
I think where you expected. I think you want me to say it's over, but I think
I don't want you to say anything. There's a blank there.
It is your fill in the blank.
This is free will, Bobby. This is
right.
a free will show. You are free to say whatever
That's
you
right.
want within reason, FCC regulations, but you know what I'm talking about.
Good point
I'm
there.
pretty good at that. I'm waiting for Vince to slip just once. But no, I think it's where they expect. This season wasn't going to be their tournament run. This wasn't going to solidify the program. The recruiting class is supposed to be better next year, and I think that's the deadline.
I'm tired of hearing that. I'm tired of hearing that.
I said at the beginning of this year we had this topic on, and I asked you off the air, do you think he's on a hot seat? And you gave me a pretty generic answer that was nice. But I'm saying I already thought he was on the hot seat, and then the trouble he got into in California, I don't know how that keeps getting glossed over.
California.
Yeah, when he went after the ref.
Yeah.
Oh. I was thinking.
And I thought with the way the season's going, and when that happened, there's just so many components that show the program's not growing. And then the only positivity is, well, next year the recruiting class looks better. And even if they are better, they're going to transfer out after a year, and they're still not going to do anything.
I think it's interesting that the entire recruiting class that we keep talking about, the recruiting class is great, is the head coach's son and two sons of the strength coach. I think that is that's the recruiting class coming in next year.
Well, see, then that's what I'm saying. Look at the chat. It says over, done. I've said this before the season. I don't know what you can look at Notre Dame's men's program right now and say, well, here's what they're going to be building on.
Did I say head coach of the son, by the way? Son of the head coach.
I knew what you meant.
Well, either way.
I mean, they're good players. They're good players. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not trying to knock them.
Is that it? Is it a three-man class?
I believe so.
Wow. Okay.
They're obviously going to have to go out and hit the portal again.
And that's what I'm saying. What do you have for this program to sell to anybody in the portal? I know money. That's the answer, right? But other than that, you're not going to win. You're not going to be a top ACC team. So, what are you really trying to sell?
The education.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to. That's what you're trying to
they
sell.
have.
Oh, that's not true. Some people actually do care about getting educated.
Yeah, not the athletes. not the good ones.
Some do, some, not maybe most, but I think that's you're painting off
You're
with
right. No,
broad
you're right.
brush.
You're right. I see what you're saying.
But to your point, the other piece that you're glossing over is the fact that he has 4 years left on his contract. That's why he's not getting fired. Let's be real clear on this. This is a money situation.
Money, not the contract, the money. Because the contract's only,
Well, the
they don't have
contract
to
is
keep
money.
them.
The contract is the money.
Well, the payout. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for.
That's
4
a lot of
years.
money to
A
get
lot of
rid of a
money.
guy who, it's whatever, like they're not getting rid of him because he's got 4 years. He's not even halfway through his contract yet.
But
They're
it's
not
the same thing when Bray was on the hot seat. It's like, what do you want to get in place besides him? So, like, if you get rid of Shrewsbury, who do you think you can bring in that would make the program better?
there's names out there, but that's
Well,
not
he
the
was
point
a
because
name.
it's not open. The job's not open.
Huh.
It's amazing how quickly Bobby veers off the fork in the road that
Very
no one
negative.
expected to be
Very negative.
taken. This is a
Learned it
lost
from you,
This is
Vince.
a lost season.
That is
to
correct.
me, is how I would put it. Others have said over. I don't know what I don't think Bobby actually gave an answer to the blank because he wanted to avoid.
No, I said
the
it's
blank.
it's where we expected it to be.
Okay.
That's
Did
what
you
I
really
said.
expect it
We
to be like this at the
expected it to be
beginning of the
this
season?
I did. Yes, I expected it to be
Really?
horrific.
But even if
you
if
told
Marcus
me-
Burton and Jalen Harrelson had both been healthy all year, you still think it would have been this bad? I think it.
So,
I think they would at
when
least
I-
be closer to 500 in the
Yeah.
conference.
When I asked
Agreed.
you, so then there you go. Because I guess I don't think they still would have been a bubble tournament team, even with them healthy. And that's what you said they needed to be to have a successful season when we had this
I
question
agree. I agree with
back
that.
in November or whatever.
I would still say that. I still think that that's what this season needed to be considered a success. It's
Yeah,
been
agreed.
obvious for a while that was not going to happen, but I do think that they needed to be. If they were 500 in the ACC, that would have put them somewhere at least in the vicinity of the bubble, whether they were first four out, next
Yeah.
four out,
They're in the conversation.
right now. I think
I
that
think
they
you go
would
to the conference
they would have
tournament,
at
win a
least
couple
been-
games.
yeah. Yeah.
But to that point, I just didn't feel like they were there, and you did. So I guess we were disagreeing from the beginning. This is
But again, you haven't had Marcus Burton since December, and now you've been without Jalen Harrelson. Excuse me,
10 days.
for
yeah
for
2
going on
weeks.
2 weeks, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be back. You know who would have a lot deeper insights than any of us even is the one and only Tom Noy, who we haven't had on the show,
Well, this hasn't been a reason.
but he will be tomorrow, 5:30.
Yes.
Tom Noy.
He's great.
Talk a little basketball.
That's
Talk a little
awesome.
Notre Dame men's basketball. Notre Dame hosts Duke tomorrow.
He's only
Nice.
been covering
So-
him for like 3 decades.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, did you just
Exactly.
out Tom with how old he is? That's messed up.
Speaking of basketball, Purdue just spanked Indiana 93 to
did.
64 on the men's hardwoods Friday night. Do you buy or sell? Indiana is now officially a football school.
It's a huge sell for me. It's not one successful football season does not make you a football school. So there's a lot more tradition with the basketball program. Now, recently, it's not great, obviously, from a basketball standpoint. Granted, it has not been great. But I will say that you can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can't throw away the tradition of the basketball and all of that. It's still a basketball school. We can revisit this in a few years.
I mean, they did make the playoffs twice in a row. So that's something for football. But they're the team with the most recent undefeated basketball season. They're the team with the most recent undefeated football season.
True.
Maybe they're just an athletic university all around. They
They're
don't have to be
powerhouse.
basketball.
Well, you negate the fact that it's been 50 years ago that undefeated basketball season. It's not like it just happened yesterday. you
Yeah.
know?
No,
So-
Well, Sean and I again, this is another one of our biggest arguments we've ever had was about what's a blue blood program for college
Ooh, yes,
basketball.
Yes.
And is IU still a blue blooded program?
I say no.
Vince?
That's a tough
They're-
one because
I will just say they're obviously they are
So this is what I'm getting at. If you have to think about it, then they're not.
No, I'm
The
not
Blue
even
Bloods are
thinking
usually
about it.
yes.
I'm actually answering the original question.
Yeah, well, I don't believe in that.
I think that the juxtaposition of Purdue just manhandling Indiana the same day that they announced Kurt Signetti's $13.2 million contract. That's kind of what made me think of this question. Like, are they officially a football school right now? No, but they did just win a national championship. They did just give their head coach $13.2 million to remain their head coach. $13.2 million per season. So as crazy as it sounds, Indiana is much more a football school right now than they have ever been at any point in their existence.
Okay, and
they're not even like sniffing being what you would consider a basketball school.
Sure, but then by you saying them beating Purdue or Purdue beating them, they beat Purdue a few weeks ago. So I guess for me, it doesn't really change my status with them by the fact that they beat them. The timing of the contract makes for an interesting discussion, though.
So what is Notre Dame? Are they a football school? Or are they a fencing and a lacrosse school?
They're an educational school. Academia.
I'm just not ready to give up. Well, I could care less about IU basketball, but I'm just saying they've got way more tradition, and setting the bar. Like I think what you said was, the last 2 years they have made themselves into more of a football school, or they, because of the way they were before. Like, it's not setting the bar very high. They were the losingest.
No, that's very good point. That's a good point.
But Vince is digging his spikes in the ground right now on this is not going to last long. Indiana is going to fall.
I'm not saying that. Now, Indiana screwed up by putting that clause in his contract about winning a national championship, and he gets to be the top 3 highest paid coach in the country. Whoops.
But I think a lot of coaches have that clause. They just don't think it'll really happen.
Yeah, IU is like, yeah, whatever, put it in.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Sure.
Yeah,
You can be
George
top
Mason,
whatever.
got it. Yeah, come on over.
No, I guess it's an interesting discussion because I don't think that recent success is long enough for them to be a football school.
I would agree. Give it some time.
I think
they are a national champion, though.
Now, if they go back to back because they made the playoff, that was a big step. Then they won the conference and the national title. It's a huge step. So if they get like the same thing next year, they're still then you might start thinking, because I think this narrative comes from kids probably.
Honestly,
so like if you were a high school senior, would you rather be a basketball player going to IU or a football player going to IU?
Right now, you'd rather be a football player going to IU.
Neither. Option C.
I think this is like something like this to change because of the long history of Indiana basketball, even though it has been largely absent basically for the last 24 years since they last went to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And it sporadic at best, even NCAA tournament bids basically. But I still think that if you're going to change, because people do have you're either a basketball school or you're a football school. There are very few who are a combination of both. I think that this football thing has to continue for probably like another 8 years.
Yeah,
you need a decade, I think, to really be able to kind of dig into that, and that's sort of what people think about, because that's still kind of a zeitgeist conversation. It's about, what do people think about most when they think about Indiana University? Do you think about football? Do you think about basketball? Same with Notre Dame and obviously any other school. And I think that more people still right now, as someone said in the YouTube show, like they think of Bob Knight and they think of Indiana basketball before they think of anything else when you think about Indiana.
Well, I mean, you have the movie Hoosiers, which is high school, but it's Indiana, then the tournament, the one class system, all these wonderful things that kind of made IU they're adjacent to it. So I think it's hard for IU to kick that they're not a basketball school.
The USA and Canadian hockey teams faced off in the gold medal game at 8 a.m. Sunday. That is Eastern time. The early morning start time caused a lot of uproar from North Americans going into yesterday's game. There were a lot of people saying, hey, why didn't you play it Saturday night? And it's basically, why didn't you schedule the gold medal game of the Olympics, which is being played in Italy, to suit people predominantly on Eastern time? So what do you guys think of that whole conversation that was going on this weekend?
You pretty much nailed it with the explanation of the question. Like, this took place in Italy, okay? This did not take place in North America. It just so happened to have 2 North American teams involved. Okay? Like, that means absolutely nothing to the people that are scheduling these games. They wanted the
years
gold
in
medal
advance, by the way.
Yeah, right. They wanted the gold medal hockey game to be the penultimate event before the closing ceremonies,
which it always is. It's
correct.
The hockey game is always the last event before the closing ceremony.
It's what they wanted. It's how it's always been. They're not going to change it based on who's in the game. They played the bronze medal game the day before. They play the gold medal game the next day, and it's the last thing that they do. Get over it, having to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning. Boo-hoo! Like, that's sleeping in for a lot of us. You know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous that people are upset about this.
And it's like, really what most people wanted was accommodation for the Eastern time zone, because 8 a.m. in New York is obviously 5 a.m. in Los Angeles. Like, think of those people who had to get up and actually get up at a really early time to watch
100%
it. Yeah,
accurate.
it's like this. People act like the Olympics was just invented yesterday and everything is supposed to accommodate everyone here just because of the teams that happen to be participating. And I saw some people saying, well, it was a foregone conclusion. Everyone knew it was going to be the U.S. and Canada. Oh, really? So why did the rest of these teams send their hockey teams over there? In 1980, did we know that it was going to be the United States and the Soviet Union?
Exactly.
No.
Well, that wasn't even the gold medal game, so that's not even a fair comparison.
Well, I'm saying upsets happen is the point.
Canada was down 2-0 in their semifinal game, and they had to come back and win it. So, no, nothing's a given. The 8 a.m. start time, too, doesn't bother me because, okay, then set your alarm for 9 and just catch the last half of the game. You don't have to be awake for the first puck drop if you don't want to be. But, yeah, the schedule and everything, what it is, when those Olympics are in America, should we care that the Europeans are mad at what time that's going to air for them? I think that's a complete bogus thing for anybody to be mad about. Plus, there's nothing else to watch at that time of the day. So might as well wake up and watch the hockey game, the gold medal game.
Yeah. I mean, I thought
it ended up being worth it.
It was actually kind of fun to be able to get up and like something of significance is on Sunday.
It's a great way to kick off a Sunday as far as I was concerned. You still had the whole day ahead of us.
So
those same, like 10:30.
Those same people, are they mad at the European NFL games that kick off at 9 a.m.?
Oh, they wear that as a badge of honor. Like the people that watch like soccer and stuff like that. Like they get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to watch those games. Like, that's what I do. Like that's like a badge of honor for people around here.
So you're saying once every 4 years, you can't do it for a hockey game if you care about it enough to complain?
Apparently.
No, I'm agreeing with you, but I didn't mean to.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Fill in the blank. It's blank that original Journey frontman Steve Perry is considering reuniting with the band after his former bandmates reportedly reached out to him. Bobby, for those who don't know, is an #1 Journey fan. So this is why this question made the rundown today. Bobby, your thoughts on this development?
They did announce that they're doing a farewell tour, which I know means nothing, but I think it's a cash grab for them to get Steve back in the band.
What's been, because I haven't gone deep enough on this, what has been the rift between them? Did he leave? Did they kick him out? What exactly happened way back when?
Well, originally he left to start his own thing, O'Sherry and those hits that he had. And then he sued the band saying that their music sounded too much like him when he had left. So it became a big fighting thing back and forth. And then they agreed just to be done with each other. So it's exciting that he might come back, I guess, because if it's going to be a farewell tour, I think that'd be a good way to end it. But even now, I went to a Journey concert last year, and they end it with, and they do thank Steve Perry at the end of the concert, but then they say, and let's also give it up for our longest fronted singer. And then they talk about on how that's their Angel, their new guy, but because he's been around for 20 years now.
Wow.
The new guy has been around for 20 years.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
But so I think it'd be really cool if you really doing a farewell tour, even if you just bring him in for a song or a curtain call. I think that'd be really cool. I think he might need Journey more than they need him, though. I don't think
didn't he have problems with his voice a few years back?
Yeah, that band's had a lot of problems. Their guitarist,
well, it's a band. Like they all have problems.
Yeah. He hasn't been touring himself. That's why I'm saying he could only probably do one song. So it might be cool to see both of them and like kind of handing off the torch and wrapping it up real nice, putting a bow on the legacy that is Journey. I would love that. I won't stop believing on that.
Wow, there
he can go his own way.
Wow.
How did you get to Fleetwood Mac? Go ahead, Vince. Vince actually looks like he has something to say.
I just think it's funny that you're basically the way you just described it, him coming out for like a song or like like they're just gonna roll him out there and prop him up like Weekend at Bernie's. Like, is that basically what this is?
What I mean, like Bobby, you said you've seen him in concert within the last few years.
Yeah.
Does this guy who's taken over as the lead singer, does he sound anything like Steve Perry? Or does it just sound like a cover band basically?
No, well, isn't that the same thing? Cover band sounding like him. He sounds just like Steve Perry, and he puts on a heck of a show. He makes it entertaining. He's younger than the rest of the band, so he's the energy. Yeah. He comes out. And
what you don't know is what Steve Perry's voice is going to sound like because he is older, and like Steven Tyler and Aerosmith tried to tour a couple years ago, and they had to scrap it because he had voice problems right away, and it's like all these the older, the singers get like they all end up with some kind, your voice just doesn't sound the same as it was. So it's like you're calling it a money grab. To me, if I was a Journey fan, I would think that I would be very excited about the fact that Steve Perry might actually be coming back instead of some dude that they found by the side of the road in an audition, at some point 25
they found him
ago,
in a karaoke bar.
Been keeping the seat warm the whole time. They probably did find him in a karaoke
they did
bar.
In the Philippines, and that's how they brought him in. But it's like AC/DC's performing at Notre Dame Stadium this year. Like, is that going to be any cool? Like, I don't know. I guess when I say cash grab, it's just another reason to sell tickets if they're not selling them well enough. But like the AC/DC, his voice has to be shot too. But hey, he's going to be out there at 80-some years old in Notre Dame Stadium this summer.
Yeah, Steve Perry is 77 years old now at this
77.
Point. Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, but the rest of the band's not much younger. Randy Jackson was one of the
but again,
guitarists.
He's the guy with the voice.
Yeah.
And the one that they're talking about bringing back. I thought you might be a little bit more excited about this. You're very kind of meh.
If the new guy wasn't so good, I'd be very excited. But the fact that they've been touring for 20 years with this guy and that I don't know.
But when you turn on the radio, you're hearing Steve Perry's voice. You're not hearing this other dude. That's why I'd be excited to hear the actual singer.
Yeah, no, you're right. I should be more excited. I'm just kind of, why has it waited this long to do it? Like, if you're going to do it, why not do it when you're 62 or 65?
Differences.
Yeah. So now I think they're just
banned.
All right.
Sorry.
Chris submitted this buy, sell, hold question for us. Best football movie not named Rudy. Something for Joey, Brian's Song, or Fighting Back, the Rocky Blyer story.
I've only seen one of those. So.
I've seen two. I have not. I didn't know there was a Fighting Back, the Rocky Blyer story.
What was the first one?
Something for Joey. It's about John Capoletti, former Penn State Heisman Trophy winner. This is a big TV movie back in the 70s.
Okay.
Something for Joey.
Okay.
His little brother Joey had leukemia, and he ended up passing away from leukemia. They made a movie about it. And then Brian's Song. Like, these are like the The first two, something for so basically, I'm gonna buy something for Joey. I've never been a huge Brian song fan. I get it, people, the piccolo and the whole thing, but it's like
The piccolo.
the death. It's not really about football to me, and I haven't seen the Rocky Blyer story, so I can't go in on that.
I'd buy the Rocky Blair story just because I think it's a good story. I haven't seen the movie, but his life's a good story. So
Yeah,
as long as
for
they
sure.
follow it, then I think that's something that'd be really worth watching.
For sure.
Brian's
true.
song, I'm going to
We
sell.
gotta go. We gotta go.
Brian's song's not my favorite.
All right, that's gonna do it for today. Vince, appreciate it. Bobby,
Yeah.
see you next week.
Mutual.
Everybody else, appreciate you being here. Thanks again to Muffet McGraw, Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat with IrishBreakdown.com.